Okay, January, what am I saying? May 26th. May the 26th. Counting the Omar? Oh, yeah, okay. The Rapture. Yes, Latin for catching up. Okay. I guess it's on my thoughts too. Actually praying for the young fellow in Hamilton, Ontario. What's he going to say when it doesn't happen? Maybe you'll realize what it is I talked to some people yesterday, even talking about Elon Musk. So I mentioned his grandfather in Saskatchewan. Yeah, I heard he was into building his own equipment and stuff, different things. Anyway, religiously, Americans tend to be more religious than Canadians. Canadians lean more to atheism. But that doesn't mean they have good theology. That's what I say. And the two ladies I was talking to from their group, probably stuck in pre-trib too. This sounds somewhat reasonable in Western North American culture. Tell that to, I reminded, there's people being slaughtered on the borders of Congo and Nigeria. Tell that to people that their families have been slaughtered, that it's pre-trib. No. Back to Matthew 27. And the graves were open, and many bodies of the saints which slept arose and came out of the graves after his resurrection, and rolled up the hill, went into the holy city, and appeared unto many. They try to discredit that. Well, they tried to bribe the guards to say the body was stolen too. The world does not want to admit the truth. Okay? How can we understand where we're at if we don't understand the past correctly? Okay? That is on the day called First Fruits. Yeah, the Passover is a high annual Sabbath. There was 2 Sabbaths that week. We can go over and over and over again this. Being the first fruits unto God. That's Revelation 14. The 144,000, Mr. JW. Not some of your selected few members. Okay? Like, that already happened. That is part of the 3 angels' message. The angels fly in the midst of heaven. Mr. Adventist. Like, get with the program. No. So here we are. Some of these counting Omar. Here's a rabbi counting Omar. Okay, they do this yet. I don't know what this one is. Counting the Omar explained. We're going to go down to the one here. It says something about the Rapture and Omar. That could be the one in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. I'm not entirely sure. We'll see what comes up here. So maybe there's other people. Chuck Messler was promoting this too. Okay. Well, we're the fig tree generation. The one lady I was actually born on 1948. Okay. There's God a minute. Okay. Feast of Weeks, Rapture, patterns in the gospel. Okay. So this is obviously another one. Okay. Fig tree has 3 harvests, I found out. And I didn't even realize after being in Israel one time.
And sisters, and again, I'm very, very happy to have y'all here today. Well, unfortunately, unfortunately, it wasn't this Saturday, but look, I do have some more information about the possibility of when the rapture is that landed right before me, and I was not looking for it. So
okay, this is 11 months ago, so that's last year.
As something that the Lord showed me in Scripture that I can't wait to show y'all about the door being shut.
Okay.
And one verse that you are all very, very familiar with. But unfortunately, before I do that, once again, I'm going to have to...
11 months ago. So that she was already looking at it last year. And last fall, 2 falls ago, Feast of Trumpets. That's what I'm looking at. 2 falls, I said, no, the April 8th solar eclipse counted first. So last fall, I'm like, okay, what about this? Hey, eventually the ship will come in. We're like a bunch of kids on a dock. And we see ships. The ship. Yeah, okay. It's the wrong ship. Okay. Let's get control of things. Other people were going to scoff and mock when it doesn't happen. Again, even more. She was there last year. Last fall, I realized all of a sudden Israel is 77 years old this coming year. That's now, in May. And then I find out Jacob was 77 years old when he married Leah. Yeah, okay. And he left 7 years later with Joseph and Rachel and both wives. One wife at a time is enough trouble. Paul talked a little bit about it. Okay. Well, my wife was off yesterday too with her Hebrew friends. Most of them gone either pan-trib, totally lukewarm. Okay. And I just see it here. I should unplug my phone, even though it's gonna. Yeah, I found the Hanukkah. I put it outside the room. I didn't want it. It doesn't say put an extra couple candles on. The menorah has 7 candles. Figure it out. 7 days in the week is the number of completion. Well, there's a rapture, a catching up on 3 on each side. Enoch was in the first 1,000. Where are we at? Okay? We can't understand the present and we don't understand the past correctly. Or maybe watch this one later on. But here's the fellow, Feast of Weeks. He's... that was 49 minutes ago. There we go. Quite the character, huh? He's a musician. Used to teach music. Okay. Yeah.
This is day 37 of the Omar countdown. We're going to be talking about the rapture patterns in the Gospels that seem to, again, point to Shavuot, Feast of Weeks. It's pretty neat. So, again, day 37 of the 50-day Omar countdown. We start from Sunday, April 20th. We land on
there we go. Goes on and on and on. Lord, help us to give us eyes to see and ears to hear what your written word says. This already occurred. Fruits unto God. Again, got two of them almost the same here. Okay, nice big print. The bodies, the graves were open. The best teaching, I mentioned it before, I found was a fellow from Utah trying to convince Mormons. Yeah, hey, they do have one thing a little bit right. One guy says sounds more Mormon, the second Adam. Okay, but they haven't left. I don't know. I think they have Christmas tree. So Seventh-day Adventists do too. Okay, most of the Hebrew groups have come out of that. Okay, they understand Hanukkah is the conception. Hey, you want to mentioned that yesterday. You want to get the JWs, wake them up. It's like the McDonald's have playrooms, right? Well, because they bring the parents there. kids want to go there. Well, kids maybe want to have a birthday like their other friends. But you don't have to have the Greek pagan thing of leaving the womb. Okay, but we don't want to leave that alone. The guy, 90-some years old, understood that. He was involved with protesting the abortions. Yeah, he knew us in the womb. We're not just a fetus, not just a little thing. Okay? But what do? Well, Hanukkah, Mary met Elizabeth. It's 8 days. Why? How many days out of a month can a woman conceive a child? They teach all kinds of stuff in school, but they don't want to teach that. Okay? Anyway, here we go. 9 months after Hanukkah is the Feast of Tabernacles, by the way. It's only listed 3 times in a row. The last chapter is Zechariah 14. Yeah. Go round and around and around. But we don't want to let go of things that we do not have correct. No, Mr. American, it's already happened. Like, I had to come out of that. Okay? There's, again, how many candles on the menorah? It hit me like a ton of brick. Eyes to see. I saw the Swiss Guard at the Vatican again, at the funeral. Okay? Why is that? Because Revelation 13 has already happened. Napoleon took 2 of the popes captive. Like, get it, the history. Here we are, thinking this is still going to happen.
Show you our little thing here.
Well, pray for him. He's going to be quite shocked. Others will scoff and mock. I would hope that he watches my YouTube a little bit and realize, oh, gee, and correct himself. So others might not scoff as quite as much.
Sabbath 2 is the yellow. Sabbath 3, Sabbath 4, Sabbath 5, day 37. Jesus spoke 7.
Oh, by the way, how far was Daniel away from Jerusalem? Well, we're told he's buried in Babylon. I reading something, maybe even that Shinar area next to the Persian water. Take him maybe a month or 2 to walk. Yeah. 7 weeks. Daniel walked, was resurrected, and walked all the way from Babylon. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. The 4 of them walked. Well, nobody would believe who they are. Go away. They died years ago. You're a young guy. What have you been smoking? Thinking you're Daniel or Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. By the way, that's not their proper Hebrew names either. They were renamed. That's what the genocide in Canada here in the residential school stuff. It was called the forced assimilation. Okay? On and on and on. And no, they're not finding as many graves at their schools as they said they should. Thought they were. It's all dramatized, a lot of it. There's so much politics behind all this stuff. One nation. They were never one nation. They slaughtered each other over food supply. Yeah, a lot of wars start. The Gaza war? Yeah, put food right out the door, outside the fence. Like, good idea. They were already ticked off about the red heifers and everything else. And where's some of the soldiers? Well, they want their time off too, huh? On and on. So what happened? But, oh, it's so much easier to blame everybody else for your problems, isn't it? Okay? It's like, by the way, Mr. American, you know why Gaza's even there? Yeah, U.S. and UN forced it in. Hey, Rabbi Zach, Ravi Singer guy. You want to discredit Isaiah 29 too? Ariel, verse 10, slept a deep sleep. I had to check that out. He went into an 8-year coma. So, Mr. Ravi Singer, are you going to twist that too? Don't want to admit to Isaiah 53. No. That's not right. The world likes to discredit. And that's what a lot of this changing, got to change enough so you can copyright it and make a buck at it and print your own version of everything. Here's my wife's Messianic, okay? It sits there, hardly used. She buys all these great big books. Daniel's not in the same section as other prophets even. Buying great big books, hardly ever reads them, okay? I read them more than she does. Like what? But no, you got the Tree of Life, started with that. I looked at it, promoted by the, what group was that? It's an ecumenical function, okay? Sounds so nice. Let's all get together in a camp. Is that what the Hebrews are told to do? Get together with all the paganism and have a big camp party? Guy comes back from Ottawa. Oh, yeah. How many people, couple million people worldwide believe they went to heaven? Oh, did they see Santa Claus too? Hey, the Orthodox Jew still believes the Spirit hovers around for 3 days. Why do you think he waited 4th day to resurrect Lazarus? He put it right in their Orthodox eyes. I am the resurrection and the life. Okay? Live forever after you're resurrected. There will be those that shall not taste of death. 1 Thessalonians 4. But read verse 14. He comes, God brings those asleep with him. Where? Some cave somewhere? Like, what are we taught? They read 15, 16, 17. The dead are resurrected, and those alive are caught up in the air. Oh yeah, the whole pew of us, right? Pew stinks to high heaven, you know, the word related to a skunk. Pew. He says, iniquity of my people. What we're doing knowingly and willfully. Chronicles, if my people turn from their wicked ways, but we point finger to everybody else. We don't want to examine ourselves. We think we're all going to float off to Never Never Land. Nice pre-trib thought, isn't it? Okay? And then the Orthodox Jew, Zechariah 14, should go to it. Think there's a resurrection from the Mount Olives? No, there's not. You don't buy your way into his kingdom. What? Richest people in the world. Buried there. And no, not all the Jews are super rich. Like, where did we get this idea from? I believe that one of the evils of the financial system that they brought with them out of Egypt. Interest on money is biblically referred to as usury. It's a form of stealing. But we're not taught that. Why? Well, Ezekiel 34. The shepherds fed upon the sheep and did not feed the sheep. Wouldn't want to speak down on those that have the wealth. We want to be buddies with them. And same with the pharmaceutical. Don't want to say nothing about that. On and on and on. Those that went against it, they lost their nice little tax deduction from an atheistic system. They don't have that in the Philippines, by the way, and other countries. Okay? That's just to support this. And it was false priesthoods in the time of Jesus, too, appointed by Rome. John the Baptist, by his lineage, his father was a high priest. He was in the wilderness baptizing. By the way, June 1st, Got the calendar there already, but it's the wrong year. Okay, I'm just a year behind. How many of us are 1,997 years behind because Pentecost happened? You hear me? On and on. Goes on and on.
There were 7 dudes on the...
Okay, it's just... Yeah, I learned some things from him, but then he got into this Feast of Weeks. Oh, I think he was one of them that was... Oh, it might happen during Hanukkah. Then it was during Purim. Then it was during Passover. Now he's 7 weeks of this going on with Pentecost business. What's going to happen next? Okay. Is he going to fall off the wagon totally and say it's all a bunch of bunk? That's what a lot of people do. Okay. Go from one extreme to the next. Okay. It didn't happen when you all so sure had your dreams and visions of our own imagination. Okay. Maybe too much late night pizza with some of your fermented wine. Yeah, we call it grape juice when it's not fermented. They didn't have refrigeration at Nazareth. They knew it was a problem with the kids. The Hutterite colonies up here, some of them found out. Yeah. We call it fetal alcohol syndrome. Oh, that's just when in the mother. Really? You think there's that much difference? No. It's for the aged, for the ill. Do you really believe he turned the water into fermented wine when there was kids there? He did not. We just like it. So we try to condone it. Yeah, one friend of mine died. He admitted. When did his drinking problem start? Had a nice big goblet of wine at the Catholic Church. Hey, they figured it out. 3 of them would separate because the priest would fill it up again, then they could have more each. Such good children. They are to partake in the sacraments. For what reason? Not real good reason. Okay. Just goes... Here, see, this is another one.
Let's start off with this Lego guy, though. This is Felipe. He's on the 36th.
He puts these things together. It's kind of neat. Huh? Counting the Feast of Weeks. But what's going to happen another week or two?
Okay. The yellow blocks represent the Sabbath.
Guy talked to me yesterday about how many times he's gone to Israel. It was such enlightenment watching them put the paper written prayers into the cracks in the wall. I think it was the foundation of the old Roman legion fortress anyway. Putting crack. What? I was there. I didn't even bother going down to that. No, I don't agree with it. Okay, the temple curtain was torn. We can go into his very presence, and what are we gonna put notes in the cracks of the wall? Really? I guess every once in a while I have to go clean all these notes out. So it gets overabundance of them. Huh? Maybe they would ask in the name of Yeshua on our bended knee. No, but we're going to criticize others that do that. Okay? They just happen to be praying to the wrong God. Hey, the God of what? You get killed in a jihad war so you can have 1,000 virgins? Oh, that's real equality of the sexes, isn't it? Okay? Really? No, he's the God of the living, not the God of the dead. There will be those that will not taste of death, but I pray that we're found worthy, like Enoch.
1, Sabbath 2, Sabbath 3.
I told my friends that the ones that did die already, hey, they're more apt to be resurrected. than we are. Caught up. We think we can have our nice lifestyle and just float off to Never Land. Like, wakey. You think the mainstream media? Most people believe a few disappeared, that, UFOs took them. Why do you think he sends the 2 witnesses? Can the Adventists try to teach it that it's Old and New Testament? See how twisted it is? Because they can't come to the realization, and human, and say, we made a big mistake back in 1844. They're trying to justify their mistake. Oh, that wasn't us. We weren't a denomination. Yeah, no, but how many of them came out of that? But hey, if we were back in that time, 1811, the solar eclipse, we're across now, April 2024. Just circumstantial, right? Formed a capital A now from 7 years ago. And I believe that's the same time they found the letter O, Omega, Greek, spotted it with a drone at the Euphrates River. Right. Hey, maybe I'm a little bit wrong on the timing too, but I think it's around the same time period.
5, 7, 6. He's on step 36 because it's the...
But 1811, the Mississippi water ran backwards how many times from some of the largest earthquakes in U.S. history. If we were around then, what do you think the Civil War? 1860s made the big history books, right? Why? Why then? People were preaching against slavery before that. It's economic conditions. The North had industrialized. Chicago, manufacturers and everything else. And the South was still agriculture. They couldn't afford the machinery. Oh, so they fought. Hey, follow the money trail. How come there's so many fires in northern Canada? Well, the mushroom prices for the wild mushrooms are good. That occurs a year or two after the fires. Why is it so dry? The volcanoes are going off. Mexican volcano. Hey, the colony guy just texted me there's another one going off further south on the opposite coast near Guatemala now. So that's 2 of them. And watch the volcanoes. When it was flooding on the East Coast, that's when Hawaii was dry. We're not being told. Okay? Okay. That was a day ago. So he's got another one here now, an hour ago. He's very, very... There we go. Omar countdown. We're going to fly away with his ironing board. Got your helmet on? Okay, he's quite the character, actually. But stick to your knitting, buddy. You're a musician. Stick to your knitting. I say that to other musicians. The guy's very, very good. Comes from Russia, probably Moscow or something. His mother's a music teacher. And he plays the organ and the piano at the same time. Okay? One hand on each. But they put him behind the pulpit. Really. Stick to your knitting. You're not the theologian. Okay? It's like Paul Wilbur, Days of Elijah. I used to really like that song until I realized what he's really saying there. It's post-trib. This is Orthodox Judaism. Zechariah 14. Should we go to that? Maybe we should go to that. Okay? Zechariah 14. Here. John. Zechariah 14. Oh, by the way, here's Zechariah. Chapter 5. Is it a paperweight flying through the air? It just gives some dimensions there. It happens to be the same size as the missiles on the museum submarine in New York Harbor. Okay? we're not 100% even sure what the cubit was. Depends on the person's length of their arm. Is it to the fingertips, to the knuckle, or how? Okay, cubits. A talent of lead. Maybe you can correct me. Talent is a big number. I don't know for sure what, we refer to abilities. Talent is a measurement. Talent of lead. Well, we know lead is heavy. From Shinner. That's the missiles being fired. Here, Zachariah chip. Branch. Who's the branch? He shall build. I think it should be capitalized. He. Okay? After he comes. What's being taught? Okay? Zachariah 13, 14. I believe 13. And he was a keeper, like Amos 2, of cattle. How many of us don't have agrarian? We're not an agrarian society. Holland is actually more agrarian. Transportation is a huge thing in Canada because of our vast distances. Okay? Holland doesn't have much trucking and train. Yeah, but river right down the middle or whatever. Okay? Lots of agriculture for the size of the economy. Germany's more industrialized. Okay, here, Zechariah 14, earthquake. Oh, we kind of taught about that. He comes to Mount Olympus in a great earthquake, and the mountain splits. You shall see the mountains, for the walls of the mountains shall reach. Okay, the mountain splits. Really, Jerusalem. But what does it say? All the saints with thee. So they figured that's got to be from the Mount of Olives. So stand in the day upon the mountain. Okay? This is the Old Testament, Zechariah 14. This is where the Orthodox Jew is at. So you try to win them over to understand Jesus, Yeshua. And what's happened? Oh, I guess it is post-trib. Oh, my goodness. That's what it says. Really? Well, read it for 3 times it mentions the Feast of Tabernacles. And they will be required to be there to represent the nation. No, not every little person. I was live radio with a Filipino guy. He made that. Well, you don't figure every little person in the Philippines is going to be at the Feast of Tabernacles. No, the ambassador represents the nation. Okay, read it. Okay. Living water shall flow out from Jerusalem. Yeah, there's live freshwater fish in the Dead Sea. How do you think they're surviving in Hamas, Gaza? They try to flood them out. There's living waters. From the irrigation in southern deserts, they found huge orchards. This is happening. Okay? See, the ambassadors are already chosen when they come. What? People teach that the Feast of Mary's Supper of the Lamb is on the earth? Really? No, it's not. No, nobody went to heaven except John 3:13. Only Jesus came from heaven. He's talking to Nicodemus about spiritual things that Nicodemus should have understood better. Okay? Famous one, John 3:16. Forever believeth shall not perish. Yeah. Well, I guess Lazarus didn't believe. He just walked with Jesus, but didn't believe. Well, he died. No, he got resurrected again. Then you don't perish. The second death is warned about. We got it so twisted. Okay? Holiness unto the Lord. Holiness unto the Lord. The last verse. is Canaanite. That's in Hebrew. I have to ask my... So how come the new versions translated trader or merchant? Like if it's talking about a person's occupation? Well, it should be a pot unto the Lord. It should be a cook. Last time trader or merchants don't do the cooking. Cooks do. Like, it doesn't fit. No, it's talking about traditions and doctrines of the Canaanites. I think the Seventh-day Adventists do have a little bit of a teaching back to Canaan about what was happening there, okay? So yeah, we can learn from other people. Just don't jump off the cliff or in the water just because they go off on some extreme, okay? I go to some of these places. I get thrown out the door sometimes. Literally. You want to get your adrenaline pumping? You want to get out of your doldrums? Well, fulfill Revelation. It says you will be cast out. Duh. Most of the time, JWs look through like a little peephole sometimes, and they won't even let you in unless you know somebody. Okay, but I got to. You ever been to one of their memorial functions? A few people online talk about going to memorial function. What? Yeah, well, they were in mourning until the resurrection. I mean, JWs are still in mourning. Okay? What? No. Like, he resurrected, okay? Let's go forward. Acts 16:11. The numbers are just put in years later, and it doesn't mean really. Acts 16:11. The mountain happens to be 1,611 meters high. Who made the mountain? He didn't use meters back then. Okay, like the guy's got a very good teaching. Truth is Christ, I think. Look up his website about 1611. Very interesting. Okay, but they're stuck in pre-trib. Huh? Yeah. The one guy on the online was from Australia. He realized something a little bit different. Okay. The one older fellow, he dragged on a little bit. They had to cut him off. Yeah, I got dragged out too. I'm just the same age as the older fellow on that one. Yeah. You want to see my mugshot? Do you really want to see my mugshot? Okay. I mean, I don't think it's necessary. Okay? But I'm not hiding nothing. Well, my phone number, I got it written down here somewhere too. Okay? Marker pen. I was always going to get one that worked. Hey, there's my earplugs. Hey, that's from my trucking days. I gave one lady upstairs. She didn't appreciate it. Well, she complained it was noisy. She's right beside the hallway and the door. Okay? Well, I learned to wear that as a trucker. Why? Got the refrigeration right behind you. I learned to turn it on so it doesn't start and stop. You better just leave it run. One cold, wintry day, the thing wouldn't start. Now I gotta find a place to find it at. Get it in before the produce froze. Okay, just turn it on, leave it. Should have done that hauling meat to Montreal. Had little bacteria specks. Nobody told me to leave it on so that air circulation. Nothing wrong with the temperatures. But no. Yeah, I've done this. Done different things. Oh, I was going to show you my mugshot. You want to see my mugshot? Okay, we'll flip. There you go. Such a toothless wonder. Yeah, I look at some of these other programs. Keep on losing my dentures. One of them broke at a construction site. Glued it back together with crazy glue. I don't know. I just kind of give up. My mother lost her dentures one time too. Put the shoes on in the wintertime again. Hey, Mom, I think I found your dentures. She wrapped them up to some tissue. Fell into the shoe. Okay, anyway, I don't know where mine are. I'm a toothless wonder. Okay. Hey, some of my friends are gone already. Whereas other ones are all doped up. I just finished some fasting. Okay. 2 weeks. Yeah, not easy. A little bit of avocado, but it gets my blood pressure down, especially if I have my chiral. It can drop 20 points the very next day. Try to get it down in the middle of that 10 days, 2 week period. Didn't get there last week. Yeah, I checked out the bank. I actually owe them another $40. I guess some used the debit once and they didn't go through or something. Okay. Anyway, chiropractors are like mechanics. They're not all good in all things. Some of them are just really wonder what they're doing. I want a guy with some nice, strong hands. He put some real weight on me. This guy does pretty good. The other guy, the parking was downtown. Was a problem. My wife still goes there. It really helps her. We learned, even helped an autistic boy. The father was a pastor. He got reprimanded by his own congregation for daring to bring what? You're bombarded with this pharmaceutical stuff. It doesn't solve the problem. Okay? We take other different alternative stuff. Okay? There's my Lex. There. Well, I still got my mugshot on. Okay, better shut that off now that you know. I'm no saint. Here. Yeah. Wonder what that's for. Here, my wife got this other stuff. It's supposed to help you sleep. Okay. And it's an omega. Hey, you want to see our groceries? Okay, got some applesauce there from Walmart. Okay, got to get some more eggs. We cook up a flat of eggs, a dozen, 2.5 dozen. Yeah, and then we put it in the fridge because it's supposed to cook upstairs, but he never put in a deck to even barbecue. Okay, kitchen's too busy because this is our humble abode. Stepson's in San Diego with a plane crash. I made a little YouTube on that. Okay. He flew me down there last fall. I wonder what is he? I want to talk to me. I was the rotten stepdad. Didn't tolerate his nonsense. Okay. He straightened up. Had a real issue with his own mother. Oh, I didn't grow up with mom anyway. Well, no. His dad went to another country. Doesn't he know his own father? His mother went to Hong Kong to support the family. She was the oldest. He had both grandparents. Okay, I met his granddad in New York one time. Her mom's down in New York now, but she doesn't want to sell the house. It was more for them in the Philippines. I said, you had both grandparents. Like some kids have nobody. Get over it. Talked to a girl lately here. She lost both her parents. She was adopted by her foster parents. Okay? Like, I'm sorry. You know, things happen. We live in a fallen world. And no, the world does not want to acknowledge the truth. Get over it. Daniel. You want to read Daniel? Read Daniel. The Jews even put it in a different category. Why? It's a little bit too precise. So they don't like it. Well, that's Zechariah. Daniel back there. Okay, here. What does it say? Talks about the abomination, desolation. Now, how does a dietary thing cause just people's love to wax cold. Matthew 24. So it's not a repeat of the second temple problem. Okay, the abomination. Okay, sacrifice shall be taken away. Okay, yeah, well, nothing functioned in the temple after Jesus, Yeshua, died and rose again, by the way. One guy I was talking to, Islamic background, didn't believe he really died. I said, you believe he was run through with a Roman spear and didn't die? Really? How come these people are willing to die for what they believe? What? You're living a lie and you're going to die for it? No, I don't think so. There are 1,200, and what does it say? 90 days. So it's not the same as Revelation chapter 11 with the two witnesses. That has 1,260 days, I believe, which is, by the way, 42 months. Okay, and darkness of deception comes first. So that's 3.5 years. But they want to teach it. It's to do with the so-called third temple, really. Adventists take this number and try to fit in their 1844 mishap. Okay? Hey, just admit you're wrong. Okay? Carry on. But take 1,290 days from the time the temple was destroyed. We know that date, 70 AD. What do you got? 1220. I looked it up on Google. Yeah, lots of things, but then I spotted something. Julian calendar. Yeah, gee, a Julian calendar. Now, doesn't that line up with something here? And see, the Adventists do mention this a little bit, because they're into this technicality about the seventh day, Saturday Sabbath. Sabbath is rest day. So is Passover, high annual Sabbath, 2 days, 2 Sabbaths in the same week. How's that possible? Okay. High, think to change times and laws. That's Daniel chapter 7. Okay. So what system changed the laws? The fourth commandment. Hey, they even admit it. By the authority of the papacy, popes, times and laws. Who is Simeon the sorcerer, by the way, that Peter had a confrontation with? Next thing you know, he was dead in Rome. Paul made a little comment, didn't say the name directly, and ended up getting killed too. Where? Some people debate Paul was first. I'd rather think it was Peter first, and Peter was the pebble, not the rock. The rock followed them in the wilderness. What? That's what it says. Do you want to believe it or not? Do you want to pick and choose? They actually did this. Took a penknife and started cutting out things. Okay? Because they didn't like what it said. Change times and laws. What laws? Man laws? That's the Mosaic law. Hey, like we have laws in our land, like not supposed to jaywalk. Yeah, they gave me some static about that, but when they found out I was connected with the Alberta Sheriff somewhat, they rolled up the window and drove away. The last one, I had to get their badge number right away. He wondered why. He didn't get nervous. We discussed things. Yeah. Found out the receptionist at the MLA's office wasn't telling them the truth. And I think maybe why they swarmed me at the bank, well, maybe I made a little joke about just in time for trouble. This is how Canadians, our Prime Minister, just in time for trouble. Now, hey, we're getting marked in right now. Yeah, Mark Carney. The king is coming. Our King Charles is coming. Well, I think the song is talking about another king coming. The king is coming. He's coming again. Okay, I'd meant to sing the song a little bit. He's coming again. Yeah, not just twice. He came every 1,000 years. Want to read it? Okay. Hey, how many chariots was came? Was it just one chariot that took Elijah up? Gee, I had to be corrected by a kid. I thought maybe the chariot. No, he said the chariot. And now his dad's no longer on the radio in Calgary here. They got a little function going on down near the big feedlots here in southern Alberta. A little bit warmer in southern Alberta. They haul the barley from northern Alberta. I actually done that. And so the beef, they actually like Alberta beef in New York. It's got a different flavor. It's not 100% corn fattened. Okay, I had some of these famous Japanese beef. Oh, wow. I think I found a place in Calgary, Alberta that actually supplies these high-end restaurants. It's like thick like a steak and you cut it with a fork. Wow. Only something like $130 a plate dinner. My stepson paid us in there last time. Big political wheels there. Okay. Here's Psalm 68. The chariots of God. How many? Just one. That's not what it says. 20,000. Remember the story? The guy was concerned, and was it Elijah said, open his eyes, and he looked around, and the hills were filled with chariots. Hey, 20,000, even thousands of angels. And who else is with them? The Lord is among them. Pardon? As in Sinai in the holy place. What's he talking about? Sinai. Talks about a rock coming after him. Came forth with living water. Is that what it's mentioning to here? In the holy place. Okay. Thou hast ascended on high. Who ascended on high? Well, Jesus, when he ascended on high. Thou hast led captivity captive. Okay, he went into the grave. No, not some sort of spirit thing. Okay, some sort of eternal torment. You're dead, you're dead. You need to be resurrected. Okay. Referred to as sleep in the grave. But when it says sleep, Ariel Sharon, Isaiah 29, I think he's just talking about it. It was 8 years. 8 is the number of completion. 8 years in a coma. But in Calgary, Alberta, they pulled the guy off life support the same week for harvest his organs. Really? What's that all about? Led into captivity. Captive. Hey, they took him out of the grave, took him captive. You're coming with me. Thou hast received gifts for men. Okay? Yea, for the rebellious also. I think Paul just kind of left that part off. That's another whole can of worms. He didn't even want to even deal with it. Like, got enough rebellious around. Well, who's he maybe talking to about this? Well, Samson. He was rebellious. He liked these party girls, the wild ones. Okay, very seductive. How many of us? David fell for something there. Don't tell me Bathsheba was totally innocent. Don't go there. Okay, never saw anybody suntanning even on top of a rooftop. Saw the little solar panels, little water, maybe an odd piece of laundry hanging up to dry. What was she doing on top of the rooftop? Bathing. Hey, lust of the eyes. Hey, we're all human. Guys are really prone to this. Rebellious also. Yeah, well, the story of Samson. Yeah, they took out his eyes, everything else, and he's tied to the pillars, and he prayed and repented. And when you have the opportunity, the guy on the cross didn't have the opportunity. Repent and be baptized. It's the Holy Spirit power. June 1st, Chestermere Lake, just east of Calgary here, coming up. Okay. Took the rebellious also. In other words, Samson, you're coming with me. You're not staying here and being more rebellious like the fallen angels that rebelled against God, didn't obey. He did not say they cannot. He said they do not have relations like other people do. We're told to populate the earth. Why do you think he cuts the time short? Well, it doesn't matter. Cut the time short, we're going to be resurrected, or we're already immortal? No, he's talking about the mortals. Cuts the time short because he wants to repopulate the planet again. So the ambassadors have somebody to govern. Like, I don't know. He says he'll cut the time short. I believe it's to have a few mortals left to repopulate the planet, because there's going to be big destruction coming. Okay? Hey, sorry, Mr. Pan. It'll pan out in the end. Yeah, maybe after the 1,000-year reign, you get to stand before him and say, well, I just didn't feel like making a decision one way or another. Or your post-tribbers. Okay? What do you think? Going to make an immediate U-turn? We kind of make jokes about that. No. What's the difference between a car and an automobile? Terminology. Or I was going to say an English lorry is a truck, Mr. American. It's terminology. You get all hung up on, oh, the rapture's not in the Bible. Oh, actually it is. It's in the Latin Vulgate. Okay? It's Latin for catching up. Harpozo. Greek. How many languages is on top of the cross? So people gotta know the Hebrew so much. They grunt and groan, and you ask them what did I actually say, and they don't even know. What? This is the Messianic Hebrew way. See how grunt and groan, they hardly even know the English. My wife is there. Here, you want to see a picture of my wife? Okay. Yeah, a few gray hairs, and she has to color. Well, there's my wife, see? Okay. Yeah, I got an ex-wife. She was a good housekeeper, too. She kept the house in Saskatchewan. Okay. And this is like a jail sentence in Canada. Okay. There's my wife's only grandson. She likes to talk to him. So then she has to talk to the daughter-in-law. Oh, what else is new? That's her only son. Had to clue my oldest son in. I said, your other brothers are already married and got kids. The one, unfortunately, went through a divorce situation, too. I was trying to encourage him to work it out. And then finally I said, well, maybe you don't have any kids. Maybe you just leave it alone. Okay? Because you get kids, then you got even more problems. So, yeah, it was at one wedding. Was okay. My brother-in-law, ex-brother-in-law, talks to me at the weddings like nothing ever happened. Why? It's water under the bridge. He knew what happened. He was still in school when it happened. A guy shot himself in a car I'd sold him. You're losing a family farm when Mount St. Helens went on. 22% interest on borrowed money in Canada here. And the banks dared say, well, that's not high. I said, well, it depends which end of the stick you're on, isn't it? Okay. 2 bad crops in a row. I was surviving it for a little while. As long as real estate prices stay. I was actually learned how Trump made money on real estate, commercial real estate. Most realtors don't want to play with it. they could be under review and lose their license. The guy actually commented on that. I had to take out the fence line in the bush, and I flipped the property without even taking possession of it. Why? Well, the bank had just given me notice, and the guy didn't want paid to January. I sold it with the rest of the farm. And so I kind of learned it accidentally. Yeah. But now, friends maybe don't want to. I'm hoping to meet the Bosnian guy. He wasn't interested in business with the big drones. Hey, this is a huge business opportunity for young people. You qualify for federal ag production, maybe? But this today I was like, what's the point? I should just give my stuff in the garage away to a young guy, you know, Ethiopian fellow. I got him the job, and okay, concrete he said he's doing asphalt or something now. Works with a guy with mini concrete stuff. Won't hire me. He knows me too much as a contractor. The one guy, when he found out I had my own semi-truck, never worked one more day for him. I just had it parked for the winter time. Yeah, kind of ironic. That's a whole story and a half, too. Yeah. Hey, us old farts get lots of stories. Yeah, except these pastor fellows flying around, enjoying the good times. Yeah. They saw the hologram in Israel, too, at the top of Shiloh. I turned around to touch the wall, and my hand went, there was no wall there to touch. It went right through the wall. Great deception. Just because you see something on the movies doesn't make it real. My wife didn't grow up seeing TV shows. Neither did Colony guy. He got the biggest screen TV you ever see. It's way too big almost for his living room. They're sitting there like, well, they didn't grow up with this stuff, you know. But the wife gets too scared of a horror movie, and she can't sit there and watch it. You can't relate to, this is not real, you know. Okay, but no. She tried to tell me something about ants. Well, even an ant prepares for the winter. I said, the ants are still coming out of hibernation. It's the springtime in Canada. It says, yeah, the ants in the summertime store up for the winter, not in the springtime. Like that. We maybe got to move out of this nice little humble abode here. There's our nice round globe. Do you actually believe it's 100% round? But don't go to that extreme and thinking it's flat. Okay, a flat map is distorted. Okay, there's Israel. Okay, hey, see the inner sea here. Okay, we can go here. Here's the Dead Sea, okay, and the southern, and it's sinking, and as the sinkholes along the shore fill up, but there's actually basins that comes up through the bottom, doesn't mix with the salt water. See, even the Columbia River into Portland, they have real, because fresh water is coming down, and it's very aggressive in the port area when the fresh water mixes with the salt water. Okay, so they got problems there too. They bring ocean tankers all the way into Idaho now, canal-like power plants all the way up the river. I've seen that. But the Dead Sea, okay, and the Sea of Galilee, where is that? Way up here, okay. Now, is the Sea of Galilee a freshwater lake or a salt sea? Well, we just call it anything. We distinguish between a whale and a fish now. They didn't. It's a big body of water. It's fresh. It's on the river from the mountains way up here. Okay? Yeah, and they tried to divert the water on the mountain. There's scars up there from it. And what? They had a war over the water. India and Pakistan. Oh, some of the rivers from India don't even flow into Pakistan anymore. The water dries up only in the spring. Okay, the other water goes through Kashmir, which is controlled by India, and that is the water supply for Pakistan. And they're fighting again. I wonder why. Hey, but who came up with drip irrigation? My uncle actually used it on his strawberries. Okay, so I kind of know this from my agricultural. Where did he come up with the idea of drip irrigation? I wonder where. Okay, that was in the 60s or 70s. Well, I don't know what year Israel came up with drip irrigation. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they copied it from somebody else too. But yeah, I seen things up there that I couldn't explain. The power plant seemed to have so many high tension lines from this small building. When I first saw it, this coal hauling ship came in. I thought, that's got to be one massive ship. No, the building was smaller than I expected when we drove by. Like, I don't know. And they don't seem to have any trouble. The Mediterranean is twice as salty as the Atlantic. I didn't know that until swimming in it. But then how come they don't have trouble making desalinated water? Well, who said that when you buy Dead Sea salts, it's marketing? Who said it's 100% Dead Sea? Yeah, they pump the water, brine, instead of pumping it back in. Might be a problem with the fish. No, they pump it in big, let it evaporate like the Dead Sea. You got more salt to mix with it. It's marketing. Come on. Like, wake up. Like, it's all around us. Okay, China's got a big thing to lift the ship real high, and then it can sail along. Well, can they do that way down here? And instead of trying to come across here with another canal, okay, gas. There's gas over there. Nice beach area, probably. Except they do what? Everything goes into military. And my wife was blocked off of Facebook. Like right now, she made a little comment that oversized homemade firecrackers exploding in their faces, and she was blocked off. She didn't believe Israel was firing at the kids in the hospital or whatever. Okay, but what's our media saying? Oh, God, really? We jump to false conclusions right away. Accidents and everything. The pilot's dead, so we're going to blame him. Where was the cameras on the bottom side of the plane? Washington, D.C. Like, okay. Was it because FAA approval is so strict? We think, no, they're so far behind the technology. You know what it would cost to probably put a flat plate electric motor between the prop and the engine? Why can't you just torque it some? Don't have to have big batteries. Need a little extra power to clear those treetops. The bush pilots up north, they were like, it's go full throttle down the lake and barely clear the treetops. Like, what? I've been on some of these. Okay, wow, you think whoa, and then last minute he pulls it up and clears the treetops. Well, your heart is just kind of, okay, come on, engine, keep going, don't stutter out now. Okay, I don't know. Landing? Hey, lose power? Now you got a problem. So what happened in the plane in San Diego? I saw the water tower in the back. I was like, what? I texted the stepson. He didn't even know anything about it. Okay, it was foggy or whatever. Didn't know nothing about it. I guess he found out. I guess we're going to be working on the power line next door. So yeah, I think it took out the power line. Now, how come the altimeter was maybe not set it to right. Well, that is set. Center is from the same weather beacon. And no, it wasn't working. But what are they going to blame? Going to blame the pilot. Okay, it's so much easier to blame the pilot or the driver, or whatever. Or the captain of the ship. Where was the tugboats that hit the... Yeah, and I had it confirmed by a sea captain. A big ship. Sea can captain. In Calgary, Alberta. Like, what are you doing here? Hell, we got no big boats here. He's back on Vancouver Island, hoping to get him maybe a little older cruise boat or something. Okay. He doesn't even want to. He quit a $150,000 job. I guess he's got some medical problems too. He likes to go in his cabin and go back to sleep. He can hardly stay awake during the church service. Yeah, he's got some problems. He's getting up in age a little bit too. Okay. Lots of us have lots of experience. Can I drive nonstop? No. Pull over and have a power nap, even at a traffic light. All my wife has to do is, it's green again, let's go. I fell asleep at US one time at a construction site. They had to come wake me up. Are you okay? Yeah, okay. I forgot to set the timer. I closed my eyeballs. The next thing you fall asleep. Sleep too long and you feel groggy, so you just set the timer for 5 minutes. And then you're good for maybe another 20, 30 minutes if you need. Okay, maybe sometime I can drive all night that way. Don't ask me to do much the next day. And yeah, I'll scratch my nose with my middle index finger, if you know what that means. Hey, take your truck down to the truck wash and then over to the repair shop. I said, my truck? You mean I can take it home and sell it? No. Hey, I had my own semi. Then I would worry about doing that. Yeah, repairing a windshield late at night at the truck stop. Guy, mobile repair came by. Got a phone call. Yeah, as soon as I got the windshield fixed here. Yeah, went out and worked all night. Okay. Yeah, so much is night off. Chariots. That was our chariot. See, they had chariots. But some people want to teach the white horses the Antichrist coming. Really? Come on. Who is Simeon the sorcerer? Okay. Anti is anything opposite to. The term Christ means the anointed of God. So people want to say they're somehow the select few because they got some diploma from some higher education and now they're here from God. Hey, are they saying they're a type of Christ? And none of us have the whole truth, so they're teaching things opposite to what he taught. Hey, this isn't being around. It's a spirit. It's not in the future sometime. Here, they don't want to read Isaiah 66. Now, this is in the future. So this is still relevant, but people say, "Oh, that's an old. That's not." He's sanctified. Not every word comes out of my mouth is sanctified. My wife gives me static about that. You say the F-bomb here. Oh, well, that's. You can see G-O-D all you want. Oh my G-O-D. Everything else, that's okay. Saying your prayers again. I look at the person saying your prayers again or what? Say the J-I-C word. Oh, you actually see him? You look at you. Well, I thought you were praying or saying that you saw him. The language is this foul. They gave me static. I didn't have the inside of the truck nice and clean. Okay, I'll clean it. But can you please clean up the air? Yeah, I have a activated air purifier. The Colony guy has it right now. He had some respiratory problems. I gave him some these essential oil things. Hey, this comes out of Utah. They have a warehouse right here in Calgary, Alberta. This is Colloidal silver. Very good for the eyes. It helps. Oh, yeah. There. You get the camera. Colloidal silver. Helps my wife's pink eye. Gets it once in a while from the kids. Yeah. Concrete drivers use this stuff. Works better than other stuff the doctor gives you. One guy says, what was that? But don't tell anybody else. Yeah, tell them some troubles. There's some court cases over, they have throat cancer. Well, the dust is on your vehicle and everything. You should wear masks more often maybe, but we're around it. All this powders in the air there. This oil here, from a French court case, they were lenient. The spice merchants put it on their hands, so they name it thieves. Now, I bought a bigger bottle of it's around here somewhere. That, less price, a bigger bottle, but it does virtually nothing. Guy talked about echinacea. He said, don't waste your money on the cheap stuff. Lobelia, nicknamed pukeweed, will make a person vomit. So how are you going to overdose on it? But they have warning on it. May cause coma. Yeah, take 2 whole balls of it. Okay? I use that to help cough up phlegm in the wintertime. Castor oil. Going through a few things here. Yeah, I put that on my eyelids now. Back of my neck, I got a little sore. Put some of this, makes it itchy. Put this on, helps too. Okay, was a boil there. I had to get it lanced open by a lady that was a nurse during lockdown. I didn't want to even go near the doctors. Okay. So, cinnamon sticks. My wife got this the other day. Yeah, well, maybe if you put it in your water. I tasted it a little bit. Couldn't even hardly taste anything. Some of the quality of stuff is, it's pitiful. Okay. And castor oil, I'm putting that on my feet and legs lately. See if it'll help my circulation some. Hey, myrrh and frankincense is in the Bible. A little dab will do you. What? Cooking oil? Motor oil? Don't think so. Little dab, they ran down their beards. This is therapeutic. There's a European standard out called EC. Convenient. I used to stop in Salt Lake City at the herb farm, lavender fields. Trucking companies wondered why I hustled away and then stopped there for half a day. Okay, well, and they have wild animal park. Animals get sick and die. Calgary Zoo here. Hey, they take them out to the herb farm, make the animal better again. Get the humps to stand up on the camel. Well, there might be some kids listening to this. A little saying about that. Just need to get healthy. Okay, don't need Viagra. Did you catch the drift, or should it snow again? Little Canadian joke. Yeah, should do a stand-up comedy thing. The guy with the tow truck, maybe I should text him sometime. But our passport might be at the government office. My wife didn't want it in the mail because they're talking of going on strike again in Canada. Yeah, well, lost my driver's license, was in the mail. Well, I eventually got it. Meanwhile, I used my passport for photo ID. Lost it. I was watching something else here last night. It's quite the sign of the times. List of mountain peaks of Mexico. That's one going off in Guatemala. I wasn't sure. Tonga volcano. Calling guys text me a little bit about that. Tithing video. Where is the one I was I don't know where it went to now. Here it is. China. Here. All this robotic stuff. Wow. This is the times we live in too. They called the big computer years ago in Belgium the Beast. Now we got so much computer power in the little phone. This robotic stuff. Okay? Scooter little stuff. Like we got technology coming out of our ears, but we can't solve some of our basic troubles. AI, the beast in the image. Just because you think you see something doesn't make it real. Now they're saying that, oh, they already got the third temple built underground. Yeah, okay. Like, spin it again. Right at City Hall. Hey, who's the ambassadors? Well, maybe it's supposed to be, says no one in the city gates. Not just for saying an odd prayer, but actually confronting people over issues. Okay? The one guy used to be there once in a while. He did some singing with a guy, a street preacher, that lost his charity tax deduction because he was not going along with all this lockdown business. Yeah, there's my phone number. You can see it there. Okay? Calgary, Alberta. Mountain Standard Time. Make jokes about it. Office hours are from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Some people text me 5:30 in the morning. Friend right here. Maybe he's annoyed that they sent him home because it was drizzling. They're not doing much work. House prices. Hey. What's happening in Toronto? The GTA, Greater Toronto Area. They got more fires. I wonder why. Got a multi-million-dollar house that you're going to lose $1 million on after 2 years. Yeah. Full of furniture. Oh, you can be sure there's court cases out coming out of this one, like the mushroom plant north of town here. Just finished building a new barn. Maybe it can be automated more. Some old one burnt down. Oh, how convenient. Okay. We knew full well hog barn burns down. Hey, the Suns already went to the oil industry in Alberta. Why do you think the population in Alberta is 4.5 times the population of Saskatchewan now, 80 years later? They used to be the same population. Alberta, especially southern Alberta, was more ranching. The north was more lumbering. The better truck and train route is what they call a yellowhead through Edmonton. That's the capital. Down the valley. Jasper Park, like Maui, I believe they let it burn. Yeah, lots of politics about this stuff. Okay? The one native fellow said he's a Louis Riel man. Well, he's from Montana. A Métis fellow. Was hung in Regina, Saskatchewan, 1880. The last war in Canada was not 1812 in Quebec. Yeah. Americans talk about this or that and everything else. But the guy even talked about Montana. Small population. How come there's not much more industry? Because the freight rates in and out of Montana, they should have built the big 750 horsepower Big Bud in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Made the deal with the company there, which is owned by a Russian manufacturer now. Big crates there, labeled farm equipment, 1 hour from the American border. Really? What's in our backyard? China's first robot prison. Really? Robot prison. Now they're getting police forces. They don't want to go by themselves, so send a robot with them. China's new AI jail could change criminal justice. Hello. Anyway, I was saying about China too. Big lift, apparently, down by the Three Gorges Dam. Lots of talk always about problem with the dam, maybe, possibly. Some dams break open. Okay. Hoover Dam. How many people died building Hoover Dam? It was originally called Boulder Dam. I've seen it. I've been there. And now they got the new bridge there. I know some people made fortune from the property. Yeah. Anyway, they could lift it up and then get it here and go all up, way up here, and then you cross through here, okay? But you have to get it lifted up. Then you don't have to tunnel through, okay? I don't know. Maybe I'll do that in the 1,000-year millennium, huh? I don't know. Okay. Well, maybe people think we're just going to sit around, do nothing, and he'll just snap the fingers and we'll have manna from heaven. I kind of don't think so. We're going to have to answer to him in Jerusalem. That's when I went to Israel, 2019. My wife was going to go with her Hebrew friends. I was busy trucking and stuff. I remember the phone call. You sure you don't want to go? There's one cancellation. I said, yeah, I guess so. Okay. Some other people helped me get there. And the preacher, when I got, he says, oh no. Some other people asked, why would he say that? Oh no. Yeah, I didn't even bother going out to the function yesterday. Don't go out there much anymore. Who runs the show out there? It was his dad's small little farm. Sheep farm. And they say, mushrooms are stinky. I said, only when you use manure. Okay? I was growing mushrooms in this little window. That was back in the wintertime more. Doesn't have much sun. Sun's way in the south. Chinese style window, greenhouse. Sun's way in the south. Yeah, so why have the windows for the east-west? Oh, you get more sunlight that way. Yeah, and it gets too hot in the middle of summer. You have to vent it out. The sun's way in the south. The back wall is a heat sink with water barrels or whatever to hold the heat, and they roll down an insulated tarp. We can learn stuff. They're doing this in China. We can learn stuff. And some of the oil executive people, the one guy who looked at the big greenhouse, takes private chartered planes sometimes, buys himself a $25,000 dog. It's like a bear. No wonder the neighbors complain. They think there's a bear in the backyard. And he's not in the dog breeding business. And then I find out the dog's even neutered. So I'm like, what are you doing? Okay? Like, go help somebody else. We think we can do whatever we want. Okay? Here's Chinese new style aircraft carrier. I guess they got boats inside of it. Well, that's kind of an interesting idea. Hey, Japan used to be known as cheap motorcycle stuff too, but they can build some quality stuff. But maybe a lot of their building stuff. Hey, the one earthquake and the building collapsed. Yeah, tofu concrete. Hey, I was working on some products from the UK, trying to make something to mix in with concrete, because the guy's got precast stuff, ornamental stuff, and it doesn't hold together. I saw it fall apart. All these concrete blocks is made from the waste concrete come back in. Hey, can we not do better? I believe we can. If we believe it's possible, then we maybe search it out. Hey, light bulbs? The media laughed about them too. Why? Everybody had gas lanterns. Nobody had electricity. Now, they're finding stuff. Oh, yeah. Is there got stuff embedded into the Chinese? Maybe. Remember how the pagers in Israel all of a sudden blew up? In the Middle East? Their pagers are blowing up in their pockets, or they looked at it blow up in their faces. Hey, where were they made? They just embedded a little microchip in there. The microchips are pretty good now. Got airbags front and rear. So why is there no airbag in front of a fire truck or a city bus? Guess where the more dangerous place to fire department? It's on the way to the fire. One got hit by a train. Yeah, okay. But photoelectric will go off 30 minutes sooner from our smoldering fires. I get involved with all kinds of stuff, maybe too much stuff. My dad used to give me static. Which hat are you wearing today? He says, why don't you stay home and do some of the farm work? Well, I can't be in two places at one time, Dad. I was going to places, learning stuff. Okay? Then when this little seed plant would put together with mostly used old equipment we rebuilt, my brother went to Colorado, picked up a unit. It's one built in Saskatchewan. It's a better unit now, but I had a real problem getting it to work. I locked myself in the building for 2 days. I got it to work. Had to figure out how it worked. What did my brother do with his friends? Have a good party, good time. Picked up the equipment and took off. But I don't know. Anyway, had to figure out how to work it. But Dad poured this fungus. It's called the ergot. Fall rye has a problem with it. Some of the grains can get it. Okay, so we were using this unit to take out this fungus. It's got to separate by density of the product, not the size or anything else. So I had these bags full of this stuff. Pharmaceutical company in Winnipeg. So we had to have so we're putting this together. Dad threw it away. Okay, Dad. Like, yeah, respect your parents. But, parents also. You got to learn from some of the youth, How much of this high-tech stuff do I know? My son showed me a little bit one time. And I said the next morning, I was in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. Can you show me that? Oh, I showed it to you last night, Dad. Okay, let's go down to the truck stop. And I'll show you how to back up the double trailers once, and then you should know how to do it. The one son wanted to learn. I said, no, I don't want you to get the license. You're going to school. They find out you got your license. You might be doing that. I said, you're there as apprenticeshipping for your schooling. I said, don't get your license. Once they find out you can do something, oh my goodness. Yeah, they should have never found out I could back up the 2 double trailers. I did it in the middle of a thunder shower. Why waste time, get soaking wet? I backed the whole thing in to the tire shop, to get some tires fixed. Oh, guess what I was doing the next day? So much for my little dairy run to Saskatoon from Regina and back. Sleep till noon, get up and go see the kids, go swimming for the summer or whatever. No. Now I'm driving this delivering little John Deere tractors around. Get paid? I thought, what is this? I'm getting paid per hundredweight. Hey, it was a big tractor. Well, no wonder they couldn't get anybody to drive it for them. Working twice as hard, making less pay. What? I went to BC for the winter. The manager's wife was working in the office. That can be a hassle too. Don't have your wife doing the books on a farmer business. You get in an argument with your accountant, you get a different accountant. Your wife's looking after the books. It's not going to be good. Okay? My mom didn't like discussing so much business at the kitchen table even. Okay? I had finished eating. I got up. I said, thanks for dinner, Mom. And she didn't see me until 3 days later. Why? I was only 15 years old. Drove the little garden tractor to town mowing grass. Stayed with my grandmothers. My mother phones my grandmother. Have you seen Al? Okay. Yeah, he's here. I didn't come home for 3 days. Well, the last time my mom said to me, something about if you're eating food at our house. Okay, thanks, Mom. Okay, bye, Mom. But the neighbor guy here, 42 years old or whatever now. We've been here 4 or 5 years. I first met him, I thought he was the husband. Well, his mom is quite young looking and he's bald. Some guys lost all their hair in high school already. Okay. I was the younger. They thought I was the older. Why? I became more my mom's height. I'm smallest on my cousins on my mom's side. My dad was a head shorter than my mom. My mom didn't care. Met an old farmer with a new car in Ontario. Hey, guess who was sitting in the car? My other aunt met her husband in Winnipeg. He was with stationed one time in Labrador. So much snow there for the aircrafts going. That's over the top. Hey, you think it's totally round? You think it's totally round? Really? How come they call this over the top? Hey, over the top. There's England. So why don't they fly straight across? No. They go this way. Because on a round, it's the same. But this is actually shorter through Iceland. That's why Iceland affected the airline so much. Because it's actually shorter. And by the way, on Greenland, how come there's Greenlanders there with a little darker complexion with kinky hair? Because they have Afro-American grandfathers and fathers from the war years. Like you can go around the world like this. Guy wrote a book. He got up from El Salvador. He has an American father. But the guy in Panama? Oh, I don't have any kids. I just like having a good time at the bar. I like the bars here better than Costa Rica. Well, yeah, maybe why? Maybe the brothers find them in Costa Rica. You might have a serious problem. They got other kids to look after, not look after his kids that he doesn't want to admit having. Oh, yeah. 403-830-4124. Do you get it? Okay. Hour and a half now. Time to call this one quits. You have a good day. Sign of the times. Robotic dogs. Robotic this. One guy says he's got a girlfriend that's a robot. Okay. Hey, we got enough trouble with a wife. One wife at a time. Jacob had 2. Was 77. Israel is 77. What's he trying to tell us? Feast of Trumpets this fall. Hey, I might just give all my stuff away to people. Because I don't know what's going to happen. Hey, we don't know for sure. We step out this door. Doctor is so smart. Said my son wouldn't walk. 1-year-old he was running. Yeah, I learned about high quality essential oils and stuff. Maybe the spina bifida didn't set in. My cousin's daughter never walked. Had much the same problem. Open cyst on the bottom of the spine. Okay. Doctors pretend they know so much. Okay. Colony guy went to Mexico, had a robotic surgery or something done, hoping to help his walking. So I don't know how that's working out for him. I had acupuncture one time. Never had the surgery done on my knee. Adults often do not make good recovery from all this surgery stuff. 2 years after my dad's leg surgery, buried him with cancer in the same leg. Okay. Hey, kids make a better recovery. Israel is doing operations to stabilize a person in the ambulance. Why? They got electronic communication to the surgeon. You're not going to make it there in time. Hey, stabilize him. Okay? He's bleeding out or whatever. My grandfather maybe would have survived longer. He bled to death at home. They figured he was going to recover, but he never did. He died from an injury during harvest. Okay. Dangerous around the farms. Yeah, one guy, big preacher in town, lost one finger, probably from the farm. By the way, I know where the money came for the big building. Do your giving while you're living. Hey, Saskatchewan, the town's closed down. So like the American Midwest or whatever. Big, huge farms. Who owns the farms? Something like in the Ukraine. 100,000 acre farms that Stalin made. They're on the New York Stock Exchange. Follow the money. Who owns what? Most of us becoming tenants in our own land. The natives, they were never one tribe. Now they call themselves indigenous. Okay? Lots and lots of politics around this stuff. But the preachers don't want to deal with it. Just give them a nice offering plate and you get your tax deduction from an atheistic government and everything's good. Keep the ball rolling. Really? Yeah, hour and 40. Wow. Time to cut or quit. Have a good day. Bye.